Alien 3 was a film that was released in 1992 and a production that was fraught with problems all the way along. It was the directorial debut of the acclaimed film director David Fincher, and when you think about the glittering career that he's had since, I'm surprised that he carried it on, to be honest, with all the problems that he had from this movie. The film again stars Sigourney Weaver, and it pretty much follows straight on from Aliens, and that's one of the problems, because you had the brilliance of the Aliens film, what preceded it, and then they follow it straight on. Obviously, the ending of Aliens, so there's going to be spoilers, obviously, for all films. The ending of Aliens, they defeat the Alien Queen. Bishop has been torn in half. Newt and Ripley are still alive. Corporal Hicks is still alive, but he's injured. So they all go into stasis on their way back to Earth. Now, this film opens up with a facehugger being on board the Sulaco, the USS Sulaco mothership. And I've got no idea why the egg is actually on the ship, because when you watch Aliens, the Alien Queen attached herself to the underside of the dropship, which then goes into the mothership, and then doesn't go anywhere. They're just in the hangar, and she attacks Bishop, tries to attack Newt, and then fights Ripley in her power loader suit. So, there wasn't any time for the Alien Queen to attach any eggs, and it looks like the egg from the images of the film is in the stasis pod room. So that doesn't make any sense for a start. But I suppose they had to start somewhere with why, the alien still exists. It exists in this world, because obviously they're dead now after Aliens. The facehugger it attaches itself to someone. You see that on monitors in the thingy, and then a fire breaks out, which causes the escape ship to break away from the Sulaco, and it crashes on a prison planet. Is it Fury 116, I think it's called? One that's populated by men of the worst kind, rapists, child molesters, thieves, murderers. And she's found by Charles Dance. And the actors in this, there's a lot of British actors in this, and I do like a lot of them. There's the legendary Brian Glover, Charles Dance is in it, Paul McGann, and then a load of other actors who are recognisable, but I can't quite put a name to them. But yeah, she crash lands, the ship crash lands, and unfortunately, Corporal Hicks, played by Michael Biehn, who's not in the film, but they just use a dummy, he dies. And Newt dies, and that's what kind of angers a lot of people about this film. It kind of destroys the ending to Aliens. In a way, it kind of like, with Newt dying, it kind of like makes the whole plot of Alien, well, most of the plot of, trying to protect and, save the girl, the reason for Ripley to go back into the bowels of, Adley's Hope and confront the Alien Queen and burn all the alien eggs. The point of that is to save Newt, and then the start of this film, she's dead. So it's like, you're thinking, what's the point? So that pissed a lot of people off, to be honest, when they saw the film. Now, I've recently watched these films again, as I've told you in other reviews, and I've watched both versions of this film, the theoretical cut and the assembly cut. Now, on these Blu-rays, each one has a special edition. And they're introduced by the director who made them. Like Alien is Ridley Scott. Aliens, there's an introduction by James Cameron, but there's no introduction at all with from David Fincher for this, because he wants nothing to do with it. It's actually hard to find any sort of interview of him doing this, movie. It would be nice for him to come out and explain what went on, because it was fraught with problems. It went through numerous script rewrites. There was sets built for a wooden monk type monastery type planet before it was a prison. That was scrapped. There was weird stories which were scrapped involving big mutant aliens and Russians and Americans teaming up, and all these were scraps for this prison planet. And after time, the first time I ever saw this film, I can't actually remember when it was, but I didn't like it at all. Mainly, you know, it started on a wrong foot by killing off, you know, characters that you found yourself liking and loving in the previous film. But after time, I've come to appreciate it more, especially the assembly cut. There's scenes in the assembly cut which are a lot better than scenes in the theoretical cut. Like the way they find Ripley and the ship. In the theoretical cut, it's just a few other guys and they're searching inside and they've got a dog. And some of the dialogue and the audio doesn't quite match up, and it just sounds bad, to be honest. But in the theoretical, Charles Dance is walking on the beach and Ripley is separated from the crash pod, and she's on the beach covered in lice, and he finds her, takes her to the infirmary, and then other guys come out to check the ship. But there's no dog in this. They're using like oxes. But you don't see any shots from inside the ship. It's all from above. So the actual audio matches up now, because it does sound like it's a far away audio, not a close up. So there's certain scenes that I prefer from the theoretical. I like the way there's a lot of effects on this, special effects involving the alien, which look pretty bad. You know, and I don't know why they did that. Obviously, it must have been cheaper. Whereas, you know, in Alien and Aliens, they kind of like used practical models and puppets and men in suits, which look a hell of a lot better. But there's two versions of the chestbuster scene in this. In the theoretical, there's one which happens from a dog. I kind of like that scene. Kind of works. And then in this one, the assembly cut, there's one that involves it coming from an ox. And the effects on that look a hell of a lot better than they do in the theoretical cut. So I do prefer that scene. And there's just like added scenes with Charles Dance that there's Ripley, Sigourney Weaver as Ripley again is pretty good in this film. You know, Charles S. Dutton, I can't remember his character, but he's a religious guy and he comes out with long speeches and stuff. He's pretty good. It's a lot gaudier than the previous two films. But yeah, the assembly cut is a lot better than the theoretical cut. I appreciate that more. The effects are better. It just kind of like makes a lot more sense in a way. Although like there's sort of like a relationship going on between Sigourney Weaver and Charles Dance, which kind of, you know, isn't needed. You know, it's not earned. It's like there's scenes in it, and you know, but there's a part where they cremate Newton Hicks, and then it's like she's got a shaved head, and she's like getting friendly with Charles Dance's character, and it's like, has a lot of time supposed to have passed here or not? Because it doesn't really tell you, or you know, it doesn't add up. But yeah, the way that they kill the alien and everything is pretty good. There's a lot of good action in it, to be honest. It is drawn out. Brian Glover, he makes me laugh. The legendary Brian Glover, kind of putting on a posh accent. Oh, Ralph Brown, he's very good in this. I do like Ralph Brown. He's like one of my, like, he's probably the third favourite character in this. And Lance Henriksen's back, but as like the human creator of that series of synthetics. Oh, and another change at the end, because all the way through, Ripley's looking sick and everything, and then she finds out that she's got an alien inside her. So that the facehugger at the start, what was shown on like screens, you're suspecting that it was on Newt, but it turns out that it was on Ripley. And in the theoretical cut, she sacrifices herself by throwing herself into a load of lava, and the alien like bursts out of her chest and she's holding it and everything. But in the assembly cut, it doesn't. So I do prefer the assembly cut version. I'm not sure why, because I just do, to be honest. But yeah, you know, all in all, it's a decent film. It's nowhere near as good as Alien or Aliens. The theoretical cut, you know, if I were just basing it on that, it would get a rating of C-. But the assembly cut, you know, it is better. So I'm going to bump up the rating for that, and that's going to be a C+. So, you know, let me know what you guys think of Alien 3. You know, what stories have you got about how you saw it? And let me ask you this, which one do you prefer? The assembly cut or the theoretical cut? And where do you rank it in the series? I know that's a bit of a silly question because it's where it is in mine, and it should be that where it is on most people's lists. But yeah, let me know, guys. Like and share my channel, and remember, stay heroic.